Hey all, we're back. We have a few things we're gonna do, and then I'm probably gonna do like a top 20 of 2024, and in that, maybe talk a little bit about why we haven't been around as much.
No one cares.
Okay, well, anyway. So this one's gonna be quick, quickish. We're gonna talk about, like we did last year, we're gonna, within like a sentence or so, basically a quick thing about every book we read this year. So there's no particular order to this, and probably should have organized it a little bit better so it wasn't just me for a while, Chonk for a while, but we're just going to do it as is. So I'm going to start, and then we'll switch over to him, and that's where we're at. Okay, so I'm going to try to go fairly quickly, because this is just a review of everything we've read. Okay, so the first thing I read for the year was a reread of Bunnicula. It's a fun kids book. Still enjoy it. Piranesi was the second thing I read this year. And again, they're not in order. It just so happened these were the first two. Piranesi was amazing and underrated despite how much everyone keeps saying how good it is. The Country Will Bring Us No Peace. This was just a fairly solid, kind of dystopian, just literary type novella that I enjoyed. The Last of the Spirits is a retelling of Christmas Carol, a little too much retelling for my taste. Holiday Inn is the sequel to Bunnicula and is good, but very dark, way darker than I remember. Obviously, it's a reread. The Engagement Party was fine. It was like entertaining, kind of like bubblegum, like not very deep, but kept me entertained. All right, let's see. Sorry, I was kind of hoping this would go. All right, Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Really loved this one. Had a little bit of, I can see why people wouldn't like it, but again, I liked it, and it had a little bit of like a love letter to movie fans. Watership Down was absolutely fantastic. If you like Lord of the Rings and you like quest stories and you like bunnies, there you go.
Yeah.
Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking was a lot of fun. I feel like I would have loved this when I was a kid. Kind of like one of those like old 80s, like Neverending Story or Princess Bride, but even sillier, but also still got action. Very good. I really enjoy it. I always T. Kingfisher. They're always good. Okay. Devil in the White City, finally got around to it. Very good. Nonfiction about the World's Fair, which just interests me. I hated Dark Matter. I know everyone loves it. Didn't like it. Hated Blood Meridian. Know everyone likes it. Didn't like it. Bunny was absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite books of the year. I cannot even begin to explain this book. Killing Joke is way better than I thought. I know everyone says it's like the ultimate Batman story, but my God, was this good. I mean, it's Alan Moore, so not really surprising. I don't really want to say much about Annie Darkin because it's a fictionalized story of real people, and I don't feel like it's appropriate because in the way the author's not from that culture, and it just felt weird to me. So, I don't know. I just feel like that's not my thing. #Murder Trending was a lot of fun, kind of dumb, but a lot of fun and enjoyed. Thornhedge was pretty good. T. Kingfisher, another fairy tale retelling. I'm not as into those. Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney was solid. Not as good as some of her other stuff, though. Holly. Oh, that's you.
Hey, it's me. Holly was a character that I hate. Everybody likes. Book was not that good.
And then we have Everyone Here Is Lying. I hated this book. I thought it was like someone who absolutely had never spoken to or met somebody with trauma. The Decagon House Murders is kind of like a love letter to 10 Little Indians. A lot of fun. Spare Room, hated this. I've liked some of her other books, but my God, I hated this book. It was just absolute nonsense. Good Shepherd, that's you.
It was a boat book. That was not bad, but kind of stupid and redundant.
I thought you liked it.
I did, but it was kind of stupid and redundant.
Okay. House with Good Bones. You read that one. Oh, actually, yeah, you read that one.
They were bones, but not like sexual bones. They were pretty good. And there was also a house.
Did you like that book?
I did like it, yes.
All right.
It was super short.
And Tango Makes Three is the gay penguin book. Loved it. It was cute. Not really offensive at all, obviously, because it's about actual penguins that adopt a chick. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. That's you.
Wow, I hated this book. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever read in my life.
You didn't hate it.
It made me want to stop wearing pants.
You didn't hate it. You said it wasn't bad. It just wasn't for you.
Is that one?
You literally wrote, this is pretty good, but it's not really my thing.
I read this in January of last year, and I don't like pants that much. Or sisterhoods. But I guess I didn't. Oh, that's right. This is one that I hated everything that was happening, but it wasn't that badly constructed.
Yeah, you're like, it's not for me, but I don't hate it. 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle is also.
Oh, this one was pretty good. This is one of the books that you made me read that I actually liked, which is a fluke.
Yeah, we're gonna do a more detailed discussion of the books we swapped. So, all right, waiting for this to. Okay, so Blackstone Chronicles. Also, these next three are you.
Ugh, this was clearly a book that you had to have read 30 years ago and had not been able to read any good books before you read this one. Because if you've read any horror that's good, this was awful. It was so generic.
Okay, we're not talking about them in detail. We're going to do that in our review.
Blackstone Poopicles.
Okay, Thursday Murder Club.
Old people, they solve murders. If that's your thing, you'll like it.
My Sweet Audrina.
Oh, God. This was weird. And I didn't like it.
All right, Anne of Green Gables. I'm going to talk about
Gables! It's just about a girl who builds gables all day. And then
it's not about that. It's not about that. And I reread it and I can't begin to express just how much I realized I couldn't, I don't remember loving it as much, and I did love it already. I cannot express how much I loved this after rereading it. House of Leaves.
10% of this book is amazing. 90% of it sucks.
13th Ale.
They should have stopped at 9.
You liked that.
No, I liked the first 2/3, and then it get kind of crap.
No, you said you didn't like the first 2/3.
Man, I read this too long ago. I get mixed up. I thought I didn't like it.
So when we go to review all of the ones that we swapped, we're gonna actually go and look at our reviews.
Look at my stuff. I forget what I like.
Ghost House. Okay, he doesn't remember, so whatever.
I don't remember Ghost
We'll
House.
deal with that. Lord of the Rings is really long. There's a lot of walking and singing, and it's just not for me. I love the world of Middle Earth, and I do not enjoy reading this book.
What the heck happens in Ghost House?
There's a house, and there's a ghost.
Although everybody dies falling down the stairs constantly?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. People just constantly falling downstairs and dying?
I think so. No, that's My Sweet Audrina.
Oh. What the hell happens in this book?
Anyway, we will revisit Ghost House. Aliens was fun.
Those dumb cops, maybe?
Yes. Aliens was fun, but, I mean, if you like the movie, it's like the movie. If you wanted to read the movie.
They add stuff.
Secret Wars was okay, really not my thing. Jonathan Strange and Miss Norrell is one of my favorite books of the year, so I'll talk about that a couple times. Moby Dick, honestly, I hated it.
Get cultured.
It's not about culture. It's just, the characters are unlikable.
You're unlikable.
The Darkness Over Arkham, I read this at the end of the year. This is a choose-your-own-adventure set in Arkham, the Cthulhu and Lovecraft world. Sunday Pancakes is a cute graphic novel about a bunch of cute animals making pancakes on Sunday. King Lear is a play by Shakespeare that was good, but not as good as Hamlet and Othello, so I was disappointed. Sorry. That's just, all right, To Kill a Mockingbird. I reread this. Sir Chonk made me. We'll talk more about it, but obviously it's amazing. Sometimes You See It Coming, I liked way more than Pete's. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you revealed my secret name.
Search.
Now they'll know where I live and my social security number and how to.
Anyway, more than Sir.
Wait, that's
what
not right.
What the heck? Sir Chonk. This is why when Sir Chonk did nothing I would like, and I really liked. Something Wicked This Way Comes was okay. Not my favorite of Bradbury's stuff. I wanted to like it. Cat and Gamer is really cute. It's about a gamer who has a cat, and that's the whole anime thing, and it's cute. What Moves the Dead? You read that.
Ironically, What Moves the Dead is a wheelbarrow.
No, it's not.
No, you could move dead people in a wheelbarrow.
Do you know what this is?
Yeah, it's where she's in the Poe house, the House of Usher kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was okay. I like Usher better, which is sounds like a Gene Siskel kind of comment, but I got stuck with it.
All right, Henry V.
Oh, this one was good. The problem with this one is I had read it before and forgot that I had read it before, and I was like, oh, I already read this, but it's still good.
London Seance Society, good historical fiction, a lot of fun. Tomorrow. I technically didn't finish this because it was the most pretentious pile of nonsense. No. Lolita was way. I had a whole video about this, way better than I had anticipated it being, and just absolutely fantastic. I mean, no, it's classic, but I kind of thought it would annoy me, but I thought
One sentence.
Okay. Yeah, I already did a review of it, so sorry. I'm just waiting for this. Okay, Take a Bow, Noah Mitchell was cute. Night of the Storm, Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, one of my favorites. First Line Wins was absolutely terrible. Dead Silence, one of the worst books I've ever read. The Search Party I really enjoyed. I thought it was just well done. Melissa is a good middle grade sort of YA book. Who to Believe was okay. The Beach read was Dyatlov Pass was fine. It's like a graphic novel kind of answering a question about a mystery. Writing Retreat was god freaking awful, so offensive and just so awful, and I hated everything about this. Scythe was fine. It was just another YA dystopian, and I'm kind of done with it, but very well written. Neil Shusterman's amazing. I think I'm just kind of over YA dystopians at the moment. So, I mean, at some point, Your Guide to Not Getting Murdered in a Quaint English Village is great if you're a fan of, like, cozy mysteries, and, you know, you'll appreciate all the jokes. My Last Innocent Year was fantastic, kind of coming-of-age type thing. And then you had The Outsider.
Oh, yeah, that was great for the first half, and then Holly showed up, and it sucked.
Oh, well, the show was great for the first half.
And then Holly shows up.
No, I liked Holly in the show, but I just didn't like all the supernatural stupid stuff.
Yeah, that wasn't great either.
All right, Mystery of the Ancients.
Man, there's a mystery about these ancients. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but it's good.
It's an Endless Quest book.
I know.
Okay.
Message from Nam. The message from Nam is, don't fall in love with the protagonist or you'll die.
All right. And then this is the narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket.
Oh, wow. Okay, Poe's only novel doesn't end. And it isn't kind of short. I just feel like he forgot he was writing it and just wandered off.
I mean, he wasn't alcoholic. Aragon.
Aragon is what happens when you tell a 9-year-old they're a good writer and then no one corrects them ever.
Okay. Four Found Dead was one of the dumbest things I've ever read. Like, literally none of the plot works if you have half a brain and you, like, don't suspend all disbelief of, like, reality. So, I mean, it starts with, like, the movie theater guy manager locking his staff's cell phones and keys away, and then there's a murder. And I'm like, you can't do that.
One sentence.
Okay. Everyone on this train is a suspect is like everyone in my family has killed someone, but it's the sequel and it's on a train.
They just have to use everyone every time now?
Well, obviously. That's
their thing.
It's going to be his thing. What Feast at Night was the sequel to the other one that he was just talking about, the Usher one. I liked this one more because it wasn't connected to Usher. So, yeah. If It Bleeds.
If It Bleeds. Some of these are decent. I really wish Holly, the character, would be dead.
Clockwork Boys by T. Kingfisher, I didn't really like. It was a little too much of a romance, which isn't really her thing. So, yeah. Heartstopper 5 was amazing. The Heartstopper books are great. Presumed Innocent.
Oh, this was actually super good. I thought this was going to be not that exciting. And then after there was a big twist, I was like, I figured it out. There was additional twists, which I did not figure out.
Yeah, there's a show we got to watch. Love and Gelato, we both read. I loved it.
I like Gelato, but not this book.
Okay. It was a cute little YA. Clean YA, silly, cute mystery. Bluebeard's Castle. This book doesn't know what it wants to be. It wanted to be gothic, but also like erotic, and I don't know. It was just a bunch of mess. Between the World and Me is fantastic. It's just about it's someone writing a letter to his son about race in America.
Bluebeard's like whole thing is he just bones a lot.
Yes, we're not talking about that. That's why I said it was like erotic gothic, but terrible.
You should have known.
Adventures of Captain Underpants is way better than it had any right to be. I loved it.
Erotic as Bluebeard's Castle.
No, it definitely was not. And I've been telling Sir Chonk you should read it. It's hilarious. Absolutely loved it. I cannot believe how much I loved it. Night Watching I didn't like. I just had a hard time with a lot of like plot elements. If We Were Villains is like pretty much at the top of my favorites from the year. You've Been Summoned was disappointing. Bullet That Missed was amazing. This whole series is amazing. Stage Fright was okay. Very middle grade though. Black Book was disappointing. A little too cop procedural.
Isn't Holes the sequel to Bluebeard?
No, Holes was okay. I mean, obviously I know everyone loves it, but I feel like I missed the boat. I was too old when it came out, and it just, I don't care. The Resort I hated. I mean, it's like somebody who's never learned about like mental health and was basically like, Xanax is the devil. None of This Is True was okay. I just, I think it's good, but I find Lisa Jewell, like I haven't loved her books. Lacey's Story.
Okay, so there's some of the most cringeworthy writing in the history of Stephen King in this book, and the first half is so incomprehensibly boring and pointless, but the second half isn't actually that bad if you can get around like the ridiculous, stupid, supernatural stuff and the bad writing.
Okay. Okay, Henry VI, Part 1.
Oh, this is pretty good. We got Joan of Arc hanging around. We got Talbot getting screwed over. That's a really good one. One of the better.
Did you read Part 2 yet? Or Part 3 or 4?
I started Part 2.
Oh. Okay. King Nix. This was really good. It's like kind of historical fiction I enjoyed. Like feminist historical fiction. All right, How to Be Eaten. This is like taking all of the fairy tale characters, but like putting them in therapy in like modern settings. It was kind of fun. I liked it. I liked certain stories more than others. Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead, I really loved. Just very solid mystery that deals with like trauma and actually does know, like the person clearly has some comprehension of like, you know, like a lot of times mysteries are like, oh, and they're traumatized, and it's like convenient for the plot, but like they have no concept of what would actually happen. And I thought this did a really good job of like having very authentic type of characters. Your Shadow Half Remains was really good. It's kind of like a very short version of The Stand set after COVID. I liked it also. And then there's The Stand. The Stand is one of those books that I'm going to talk more about it with my swap with Pete, but like it was disappointing and too long. Lone Women was really good, and I don't like Westerns, and this is just great. The Housemaid I almost gave up on because I hated until midway through, and then that midway twist, man, it was awesome. Okay, where are we at? I should probably just let this go. Okay, yeah, I've talked about the Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, wow. The first 20% of this book is freaking amazing, and the next 1,000 pages isn't that great, and then the last third is kind of disappointing.
The Consultant by Bentley Little, I've been reading for like 10 years, and this year I finally decided to finish it. And so it's like Bentley Little. The consultant is evil, and usually it's like the consultant is evil, the mailman is evil, the store is evil. Whatever it's called, the something, that something is evil. I Know Who You Are is Alice Feeney. It was kind of like Good Bad Girl, but not as good as earlier. Alice Feeney and her stuff isn't... Obviously, she eventually got to it. 15 was cute. It's very cute. Just coming of age, love story, first love kind of thing. Listen for the Lie, I hated. I thought it was like, it's about a bunch of adults who act like teenagers, and they spend the whole time, one of the girls just wants to bang everybody, and I'm like, she's supposed to be solving...
You should hang out with Bluebeard.
Well, she's trying to find, like, what happened to her friend who was murdered, and she's too busy, like, being like, wow, that guy's hot. And I'm like, can you not? Like, don't you have things to be doing? I reread Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone, which was good. I reread it, obviously, it was good the first time. Night Shift, I loved. Just really good mystery, coming of age kind of stuff. I liked it a lot. Lisa Gardner, this is actually not in order, but I read the whole Frankie, whatever her last name is, series. I loved the first one. I thought the second one was pretty good, and the third one I was like less into, but they're very different, but they're all really good. So it was One Step Too Far, Still See You Everywhere, and Before She Disappeared. I think that's the verse, or Secret History is amazing. I'm not saying anything new. Rebecca Blew Me Away is how good this book was. The Gallopers was just not for me, really good. Sundial, love it, it's Catch Run Award. Everyone here, or several people are typing, is this guy trapped in a Slack conversation. It's really funny if you use Slack. These Violent Lights tried to be sort of dark academia and I think failed. Kind Worth Saving is the second book in this trilogy that I don't really like, but I keep reading because it's like fine. I just don't love it. Hand on the Wall and Vanishing Star and Truly Devious. I loved this series. Knock Knock Open Wide was okay. Vacancy in Room 10, I really didn't like. Chocolate War, I loved. Very dark, though. I could not believe how dark Chocolate War was. Boy Parts was disappointing because I loved Penance, but I just did not like this book.
So we've learned you like chocolate, but you don't like Boy Parts?
Anyway, The Redemption of Morgan Bright, I don't remember. Zero Days was pretty cool. Yeah. 0 Days was pretty cool. I like the concept of like ethical hacking and stuff, and so it's about that. Ninth House I hated. It's supposed to be dark academia. It was a bunch of crap. It was nonsense. I hated it. I don't like Leigh Bardugo. I'm sorry. I know y'all do, but not for me. It was just, no. Dark Parts of the Universe, I don't know. It was all right. It was like YA. Remarkably Bright Creatures, one of the best books I've read this year. Absolutely stunning. Legends and Lattes, fun book. Really cute. If you want like quiet, just cozy fantasy, it's cute. Heaven was Japanese and dark, and I liked it. Secluded Cabin Sleep 6 was a total mess. Like, I wanted to like this. It was right up my alley, and it was just such a mess. Rabbit Run?
Oh, yeah. This is Incroyable for, like, the first 20% of it again, and then it's, like, still okay, but, like, loses
you said the characters were, like, unlikable.
Yeah, well, they're horrible people, but, like, that's part of the charm, I guess.
All's well that ends well.
Things end pretty well.
Okay. Claw the Dragon.
oh man, there's these dragons, and you may not have suspected this about dragons, but they got claws. Another choose your adventure book. It's pretty decent.
Antony and Cleopatra.
Things don't go well for them. Things do not go well.
That's one of my favorite Shakespeare plays.
It's good, but it's a rough go for the title characters.
I think it's an underrated Shakespeare play though. Golden Apples of the Sun.
Oh yeah, this is a early collection of Bradbury. He's got like some of his best stuff in it. I had read like 80% of this beforehand, but I just reread them all again because they're great.
Forever by Judy Blume. Like, the book is okay and everything, but like the boyfriend is a piece of garbage. And like the whole time I was just like, oh my God, this kid is such a piece of garbage. And like, it's funny because I remember reading it and it's, typical first love, right? And so she thinks he's this like great guy and he's a piece of garbage. And like,
so what do you think of him?
Oh my God. Like, honestly, I feel like the best thing about reading this book is you should give it to teenage girls and be like, isn't he crap? And this is why he's crap.
If you could use 3 words to describe him, would you use piece of what?
Garbage.
Yes, I thought so.
All right. And then Flamer is about a gay kid who goes to Boy Scout camp. I'm not a gay boy, and I did go to Girl Scout camp, but it was pretty good. I liked it. I don't know. I think I didn't totally connect to it because I'm not a boy. And I think there were some very boyish things. Ocean at the End of the Lane was good. And that was I read that before, like the whole Neil Gaiman thing. And so I was like, wow, I like this. Neil Gaiman, good stuff. And then now I don't want to talk about him. The Best Lies by David Ellis is good, but it's not as good as Look Closer. And so even though it's fantastic, it wasn't as good as Look Closer. So I was slightly disappointed.
I feel like Beartown setting itself up for a very disappointing book.
No, Beartown was awesome.
But there's probably no bears in it.
No, it's not. It's about hockey.
Disappointing.
It's about hockey and rape. And I really liked this. It's kind of reminds me of like Friday Night Lights, but like with hockey. And obviously there's the rape element, so it's a dark version.
Saturday Morning Lights.
Yeah, I definitely loved it. There's more to them, but I don't need to read more. Chamber of Secrets. I reread that, and then I stopped rereading the Harry Potter books because I don't like the Chamber of Secrets very much, and it made me just like not feel like I needed to reread them anymore. Nothing But the Rain was just a very short novella, sort of dystopian thing. I liked this. It was nice. Well written. Murder in the Family was a ton of fun. It's written like a screenplay of like a true crime show, like reality show kind of thing. I liked that. That was a lot of fun. So it's like every episode you got like clues. I mean, I don't know if it was good, but it was fun. So, why is everything frozen? Sorry, I'm going through my list here.
Why is everything frozen? Sounds like an Alice
The Shards.
Oh, The Shards was The Sharts.
Okay. Runtime was terrible, just nonsensical. Slaughterhouse 5, here, I'm going to go out on a limb here and tell you it's amazing and well-deserved of all of the stuff. Dungeons and Drama was objectively god-awful, but so much fun, and I loved it, and I've already bought the sequel. Hashtag Murder Funding, for some reason, like, as much as I loved the first one, by the sequel, I was just like, nah, I'm not doing it anymore. Glenmare Girls, I remember nothing about this book, so clearly it was not impactful at all. Heartsick was good. I like Chelsea Kane. I like her comics more. Heads Will Roll was disappointing because I liked his other stuff, and I just felt like I liked his other horror things. This one just felt a little too, like, sanitized. Red Rising, I did not like. It was like Hunger Games in space. Yeah, well, I have it, and you can reread it. I have it on the Kindle still. So, The Six was terrible. It was a mess. Mothered, I hated the characters. I hated the writing. I hated everything about it. Little Eve, I loved because it's Catriona Ward, and she can't do anything wrong, and it was beautiful and amazing and gothic and creepy. Children on the Hill was good. Really, like, nice gothic, not gothic, but like good mystery, solid story about family. I don't really remember much about the Astrology House. I think Astrology House and Friends in Napa both were like about really unlikable rich people, but not in a fun way. Where You End, I don't know. It was weird and didn't really do anything for me. Last Word was so much fun. It's about a writer who's trapped and like being hunted basically in the storm. Yeah, you'd love it. You would love this book, and it's on Kindle, so you should totally read it. It's super fast paced. It's dumb, but it's fun entertainment. He's downloading it now. Night of the Living Rez was stories about living on a reservation. They're all interconnected. Well written. I'm not a short story person, but I'll read more by him. What Lies in the Woods I really liked. It was a murder mystery about teenagers who, so there was a murder when they were younger. Illustrated Man was a reread, but man, this is such a good book. Like, the stories in this book are so freaking good, it's ridiculous. I think it has some of my favorite stories of all time in it. One Perfect Couple was reality TV, trapped on an island. It was fun. It was dumb. Falling, I hated. I just thought it was terribly written. Murder of Roger Ackroyd, I could not. I got it all hyped up, and then I was like, do I like it? Do I not like it? But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, damn, that was so good. So Agatha Christie. Middle of the Night was good. Middle of the road for me for Matt Riley Sager. I kept this check mark. I have to remove that. Last Devil to Die, also from Thursday Murder Club. Fantastic. Sad. I knew it was coming, though, so... Young Scrooge, I love Christmas Carol retellings, but this is for a 12-year-old boy, and I am not one. Boys in the Valley.
Oh, this had a pretty good concept, but it desperately needs, like, a rewrite by a ghostwriter. Because this person can't write at all. It's awful.
All right, Fahrenheit 451 is fantastic, if you didn't know. Shadow of the Wind was super disappointing because it's, like, one of my friend's favorite books of all time. I hear amazing things about it. I started it thinking I was going to love it, and it just went on and on and on, and it was just, like, so overwritten, and I am very much like, I don't like long books for no reason, and I feel like it wasn't long for no reason. Some people really love that. It's just not me. I like very sparse, like, poetic type of writing. Rouge by Mona Awad, I really enjoyed. Not as good as Bunny, but, you know, everything she does is ridiculously good. I don't even know if I understood it, but I love her writing. She Kills Monsters was a cute play, kind of dated. I think there's some things that you wouldn't really want to include in your script anymore. Slow Fire Burning took me about 5 years to read, so it was definitely Slow Fire Burning. It was all right. I don't know. It was kind of disappointing. I didn't feel like it, like, had much potency. Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney was fine, but it was a pretty generic, like, thriller, which... Tell Me I'm Worthless, I just didn't like. I didn't like the writing. I like the writing, but I didn't like type of character or story. Elevation by Stephen King is basically thinner, but, like...
Fatter, airier.
Yeah, I don't know. It was dumb. You like it darker? Your thoughts?
Yeah, this was pretty decent. There were, like, a lot of very nice stories in there. A couple were crap, and one, like, outstanding one that felt like an old school one. So overall, yeah, it was good.
Okay. Oh, Iris for Rocket.
Oh, it's Bradbury. It's awesome, obviously. Oh, this has got the really sad sea monster in it. Great story, but it makes me sad.
Sleeping Beauties.
Oh, yeah. Sleeping Beauties. That was a chore to get through.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
Station 11.
This was really stupid. This is a great premise that I loved it. There's a lot of people who have books published that don't seem to have a good grasp of, like, plot, character, or writing, and this is one of them.
Everyone loves that book.
Yeah, well, it's crap, though. People don't know what they're talking about.
Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry.
Oh, yeah, this is a good book if you're, like, you want to teach middle school kids about racism. There you go.
Coriolanus.
I don't like the anus part, to steal a line from...
Cymbeline.
What the hell happens in this book?
That was Shakespeare.
I know that. I forget what happens in this one.
All right.
Oh, well.
Henry IV, parts 1 and 2.
Oh, that's good. That's got Hotspur, and then, of course, Henry and Falstaff. They're pretty fun.
All right, I read Sure I'll Join Your Cult, which was kind of... I thought it would be funnier than it was, but it was actually about Maria Bamford's, like, serious mental health issues. It was well written, though, and it was entertaining, but I was expecting more, like, funny. Because she's a comedian and all. Nighty Nightmare.
Oh, yeah. Rabbit stuff. Love it.
We Need to Do Something
no rabbits, really.
Was a really short book that I was really into, and then it went so far off the rails, I don't even know. The Midnight Feast was super disappointing. I don't know. Just disappointing. It didn't work. I mean, it was all right, but I feel like I've read it before. Bookshops and Bone Dust was cute, but, like, I'd already read Legends and Lattes, so I didn't feel like I needed it. Storm of the Century.
Yeah, this is actually better than I remember it being. I remember, like, really liking the TV show a lot and then hating the ending, but the ending wasn't even that bad, so it's good.
Fierce by Ali Raisman was just interesting. It was about her gymnastics career. Song of the Dark Druid.
Oh, man, them druids, they can't sing that well, to be honest.
All right, Return to Holiday Inn.
Oh, I like this one. This is another, like, locked room mystery kind of thing going on. They return back to the... And it's really fun. I really like the cat. What's his name?
Chester.
Oh, Chester?
Yeah.
Chester's awesome.
Bunnicula Strikes Again.
It's more Bunnicula. It's not as good as the one before, I don't think, but still pretty cool.
All right. I reread Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret. It's still one of my favorite books. I mean, I've read it a billion times since I was, like, a little kid. Full Tilt was... I should have liked this more. I like Neil Shusterman. I like the writing. I just feel like, I don't know, I was just not having it. At some point, I think several times this year, I just was not in the mood for a lot of things. And so, like, it's about an amusement park. It's creepy. Like, I really should have loved it, and I thought it was okay, but I should have loved it. And I'll be addressing why I think I'm going to kind of change my approach this year, because I feel like I was, like, just trying to read too many things and ended up not enjoying a whole lot. Penance I did like. It's about a group of girls. One is raped and murdered, and when they're like little kids, and they it's about like basically their mom like sets out to like destroy their lives, and so it's like each of their lives as they're adults kind of reflecting back on how horrible their lives are and all the horrible things that have happened because of the murder. Bunnicula meets Edgar Allan Poe.
This is a little disappointing in that Edgar Allan Poe and his owner were pretty boring.
All right. Woman in Black is good, but also I've seen the play, and the whole time I kept going, wow, this great play was great.
Yeah, the book is also great.
It is, but also it was just like, it's not the play, and I love the play. Midnight Club I reread by Christopher Pike. I just love Christopher Pike, so I got to watch the show. I watched a couple episodes, and then Sir Chonk was like, I don't want to watch anymore. Gunslinger I loved. I absolutely loved it, and then I started the second one, Drawing of the Three or whatever, and I was like, I don't know, 40% in, and I just was not having it. I was not enjoying it. It was too weird. So I have decided that based on a lot of what I've heard of the Dark Tower series, it's not going to be for me. And I'm going to enjoy that I loved The Gunslinger, and I'm just going to read that one and be like, you know what, that was for me. And I read that one.
Shall I make you read one for our thing?
Oh, well, unless you make me read The Drawing of the Three for the second, for our swap again. Secret Bedroom by R.L. Stine. I loved this when I was a kid, and God, it was awful. I mean, I love the Fear Street books, but man, this one was terrible. Probably a lot of them are terrible. Carrie I reread and actually was like, it was all right. Like, I was surprised that I think, like, the movie has gotten so, like, ingrained in my mind that some of my favorite parts, I'm like, wait, that's not how it is, because that's, like, the movie was, you know. And again, that's the problem with a lot of Stephen King. Like, you just get trapped in your head. People I Want to Punch in the Throat was nowhere near as good as it should have been. It was mostly just about how much it sucks being a mom, and I don't care. Okay, Life at Rose Red.
Oh, yeah, this was just a cheap marketing move by someone who wanted to capitalize off the Stephen King show, and it was really not interesting at all. There's a little bit of backstory connected to the show, but, like, it was pretty weak.
Hockey Girl Loves Drama Boy is a graphic novel that is about a girl who plays hockey who falls in love with a boy who does drama. And it was really cute, and everything about it is good. I mean, like, what else is there to know? Faithful?
Yeah, I really like this because I'm an obsessive Red Sox fan, and I watched, like, most of the games this year. But unless you're completely insanely obsessed with box scores and statistics and reliving games you've already seen, you should not read this.
Poe's Collected Works?
I mean, this guy's way crazier than I thought. And I'm not even talking about the horror stuff. Like, he's got so many weird-ass stories in here, I can't even explain it. But it's a great ride.
Night?
It's an uplifting romp. It's really good, obviously. It's like the staple for the experience as a Jew in Nazi Germany.
The Thicket?
Oh, man. The Thicket had so much Deus Ex Machina in it.
The Martian Chronicles, which is funny because I reread this and I was like, I don't think I ever picked up on, I liked a couple of stories already, but like how much it's a comment on colonialism. And I was like, oh wow, Bradbury's got a lot of social commentary going on here, and it was very good. Dune?
Yeah, this is obviously super good sci-fi, and David Lynch made it all weird for no reason, as expected.
And the Hulk Masterworks?
So, you know, he's the Hulk. He smashes stuff. Sometimes he's gray. Sometimes he's green. The Hulk.
I read Driving Blind, which was stories by Bradbury, and they were later published stories, and there's a reason they were later published, I believe, because they weren't good.
How dare you?
They weren't. I mean, you haven't read it? Go ahead and read it, and you'll be like, this is all the crap that he like had hanging around that nobody ever wanted.
Oh, maybe.
HMS Ulysses.
Oh, yeah, this is probably my favorite book of the year. It's like another boat book, but it's incredibly good and will ruin you.
All right. Maybe you should do your top books. You can put those together when you're going through everything. So I had the Dungeon Master's Book of RPG Trivia, which we just kind of read aloud. And that was just fun. If you play RPGs, you might, and you like trivia, probably like it. Night Sky with Exit Wounds is poetry, and like, it was fine. I mean, I'm not that into like a lot of modern poetry, but I really loved the title Night Sky with Exit Wounds, so I had to read it. September House was so good. It was so good. It's like a horror that's basically a metaphor for domestic violence, and my God, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I mean, very triggering if you're, if that's a thing that you don't like. Daughter of Mine was another Megan Miranda, and I realized like a lot of her books are basically just like rinse and repeat, and so I was bored. You May Now Kill the Bride is a Return to Fear Street book. It was pretty terrible, kind of dumb, but it was fun in its own terrible way. The Talisman, I really liked. Like, I didn't love it, but I would have loved it, I think, when I was, like, 10. And I really liked it. There were things I didn't necessarily like, because, Stephen King has a tendency to do Stephen King things. So I don't know, because some of the writing was, like, the best writing I've ever read by Stephen King. So I don't know if that's Peter Straub, because I haven't read any of his stuff. But this is like, I mean, if you love like those old school 80s like fantasy things, like this is right up your alley. Like I can understand why it's Sir Chonk's like favorite, because he was 10, 12-year-old boy in the 80s. And
I read it when I was 72 years old.
No, you didn't. You read it when you were like 13. And so like it makes sense. Like it's very, yeah, it's good. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. You read The Wood at Midwinter. I want to read that.
Oh, yeah. This is like a kind of really short, cute fairy tale kind of thing. It was nice.
I gotta read that. The October Country disappointed me. I don't know why, but, like, I don't think I like Bradbury's horror. I don't think it, like, does anything. There were, like, the plots were kind of nonsense to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm, like, I really like Bradbury sci-fi and, like, dystopia and stuff, because I don't think I liked any of the stories in this. Ghost Station was the second one by the other, that other crap book, Dead Silence or whatever.
Why did you read this?
I read it because I got it from the library, and I was like, it can't be worse. And this one had like reviews from like the New York Times, and
yeah,
I mean,
she's connected and she knows people.
Yeah, I don't know. She's like the luckiest person I've ever met, because this book was terrible too. I mean, it was a little less terrible, but that's not much. There's not much to be said. It wasn't the worst book of all time, so. I mean, it was close. Yeah. Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister was fantastic. I absolutely love this book. It's coming out, or it just came out. I don't think it's out yet, actually, but I loved it. Dark Tales by Shirley Jackson. Really enjoyed this. I don't like a lot of short stories, but Shirley Jackson writes some good short stories. Bye Forever, I guess, was okay. I thought it would have more to do with, like, gaming and stuff, because it's about, like, these friends who are, like, into, like, video games and, like, D&D and stuff, and there wasn't much of that. It was more just, like, coming of age friendship stuff. Brutes I need to reread, because there's a lot going on that's like this. Like, this is the book that Sir Chonk saw the summary of and said, yeah, you're gonna love that. So I feel like I need to read it again. It's short. The Big Sleep is super disappointing, because it's very dated and it's very like misogynistic and homophobic, and I mean, I guess it was a mystery and it was important in the time, but my God, it was awful. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees is absolutely fantastic, and I need to get this comic series, because I don't have, like, physical copies of it. 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl might be one of my favorite books of the year. It's, like, just 13 vignettes about this girl's life, when she's fat, then she's losing weight, and then she's not fat, and it's just, like, how, like, her traumas, and it's amazing, and I related to it strongly. Speaking of growing up, boy, Tales of a Childhood.
Oh, yeah. This is just like the autobiography of that dude.
Roald Dahl.
And it's way better than I would have thought, because I don't really like autobiographies, but it's quite interesting. And he got caned a lot.
The last is about a bunch of people trapped in this hotel at the end of the world after, like, there's been, like, nuclear attacks around the world, and they're, like, the last people left alive, and it sounded like it should be amazing, and then it was just super boring, and, like, nothing happened, and the characters were annoying. Call of the Wild?
Oh, yeah. This book is unbelievable. That's not, like, shocking, because, it's an epic classic. But I had forgotten. I thought I had read this, and it was lying around, and I started reading. I was like, wait, I haven't read this book, and it's amazing. But, of course, it's kind of sad, because animals.
Yeah. Enough by Cassidy Hutchinson is about working in the Trump administration, and so, yeah, it was awful. Kala by Colin Walsh was one of the better books I read this year. Opposing Nathan, I don't know. It was like so dramatic, and I was like, God, some of these YA books are so over the top and like not relatable at all. Strega, I don't even know what happened in this book, but it was really well written, and I was like super immersed in it, even though I don't really know what happened. The Shining, I reread, and it's as amazing as I remember. Honestly, it's just so freaking good. This book is so good. The Night She Disappeared started really great by Lisa Jewell, and then it went off so far off the rails into such idiocy that I was like, this book went from like an easy 5-star to like, I mean, it would be a 1, but like, so I guess it's a 3 because like the first part was good and then it was just so dumb. Commodore was a short story by Philip Fracassi, and I thought it was kind of creepy. And then The Cat Operator's Manual was the last thing I read, and this is about, it's written as if it's like an actual manual for your device or whatever, but it's for a cat, and so it was hilarious. You read that too.
I did?
Yeah, The Cat Operator's Manual. Remember your Cuddle device or whatever it was called?
I do not
Cuddle
remember.
Master 3000 or something?
Oh, right. Now I remember. And I guess it was kind of fun in a weird way.
All right, so that's everything we read this year. We'll come back with like, more specific focused stuff, but that's that. And maybe we'll do some more stuff this year. All right, bye.
Boop.